Hey guys, today we're going to start our journey. It's going to be a long journey, it might take a year or so. We're going to make a triple A fighting game, similar to that of Tekken 7. We're going to be using Unreal Engine 4, and as soon as the most stable version of Unreal 5 comes out in 2022, we will change to Unreal 5 as and when we think is appropriate. But for the time being, we're going to use the latest version of Unreal 4. And yeah, let's get into it. So first thing you want to do is make sure you've downloaded Unreal Engine 4. It's 100% free, so go for it. I'm using version 4.26.2, which is the final version of Unreal Engine 4. I don't think they're making a new update to it. And once you've downloaded, you clicked on Unreal Engine and you clicked on UE4 and you've downloaded it, it should be in your library here. I'm going to launch this version. Cool. And within a few seconds it opens up, and we're going to make a fighting game. Everything will be very basic and generic at this stage, and we've got a plan. So we're going to do an introduction, which we've done with now, which is this. Then we're going to do key mapping. Then we're going to create a basic HUD, which is like the life bar or super bar or mana bar, whatever you want to call it. And then we're going to import temporary animations and characters. The reason why I say temporary is because I assume you want to build this and use your own animations and characters to sell on the Steam store. So temporarily we will use Mixamo, and I guess you could use Mixamo as the final result, but I'm sure 6 months from now, when I'm showing you how to animate effectively, you might consider making your own animations as well. Separate to that, we'll jump onto movement animations and state machines. So this is all very basic levels at this stage. Once we've completed these levels, we'll have a basic prototype to play around with. It won't be fun, but it will be the foundation to everything else that we do. Then we'll do our hitboxes on both characters so that the damage can be felt and deducted. And then we'll do our functional spawn points. Now, big props to Sean the Bro. Let me show you his channel. He's got an entire series to fighting game tutorial in Unreal Engine 4 and C++. He's still updating it to this day. And in fact, most of my inspiration will be coming from this series. The only reason why I'm doing a tutorial series like this is, number one, I enjoy teaching as I've learned something. And number two, having a different teacher on the same subject gives you options to take in information. In terms of skills and expertise, Sean the Bro is the guy to listen to. But if you can't follow along or you've hit a roadblock, I could be plan B. All right, anyways, let's get into it. So now that we've done that, we're going to click on Games, Next, and we're going to choose the side scroller. And we're going to press, not 2D side scroller, make sure you choose side scroller. Press Next. Change this from Blueprints to C++. I've made this game in Blueprints. It's quite easy to do, but it becomes very difficult down the road when you want to do more complicated stuff. So it makes sense to use C++. And with Sean the Bro, it makes it way easier. And we're going to use maximum quality, and we'll leave ray tracing enabled because we might want to add that later on. Keep in mind that you have to have the mindset that we're going to be building this game for the next 2 years. And let's see where it goes. Right, so this project, we're going to give it a generic name, generic fighter game. I'm going to call this generic fighter game. I suggest you give it the same name with the same case sensitivity. If you're new to coding, it will help you to follow along to know whatever a specific thing it's referring to when we're looking at code. We're going to try and code as little as possible and focus really on the functionality and the design aspects of this. But unfortunately, some coding is needed, and we will take you every step of the way. Right, so I'm going to create this project. Boom. And it takes a few moments to create. It might take longer on your machine than mine, I imagine. But yeah, there's no edits here. It's me just showing you from start to finish on how to do this. So if you ever wanted to create Super Smash Bros. Or Tekken or Mortal Kombat, I hope that this would be one of the best tutorial series that you could watch outside of Sean the Bro. Right, so now that we've got this open, oh, this shouldn't be, you wouldn't see that, you'd see this. Now that we've got this open, if it's your first time, we're going to click on this over here, and you always want this open, and we're going to click on content, and we've got content browser, world outliner, details, and we've got this over here, your place actors, and over here you've got your viewport. If you press play, and you use your A, click once, and then you press A, D, W, it moves the character. Escape. I have an Xbox controller. If you've got a PlayStation or Xbox controller that you prefer to use, plug it into your computer. We're going to use that instead. I'm using Xbox, but if you want to use a keyboard, use a keyboard. Right, so first thing we want to do is we want to map everything. So let's click on Edit, Project Settings. Now your project settings will probably appear like somewhere down here. Hold on, like this. I just drag it up and I put it on the top here. That's just my personal preference. Then I click on Inputs, and we've got two types of bindings. One is your action mapping, and one is your axis mapping. Axis mapping is for direction. Action mapping is for a specific function. Technically, jump should be a direction, but you know what? Let's leave it as an action. Right. So currently, if you want to jump, you can press W up to jump, or you can use the gamepad face button bottom. We're going to change all of this. So first thing we want to do is press this W, and I'm going to change it to gamepad, and then I'm going to type in left thumbstick up. Boom. That means that if I press the left thumbstick and I go up, it's going to go up. Another option here is up. Right, so for up, the only other thing is I want the D-pad to go up. So I'm going to go gamepad, D-pad, up. Bless you, pardon. Bless you, pardon. Sorry about that. Let's carry on. Boom. And now we can just delete the other two options. And now we can go to movement. Currently A is left, D is right. So I'm going to type in gamepad, D-pad, left. Gamepad, D-pad, right. And the other one, you could stay the same, gamepad left, thumbstick x-axis, that works perfectly fine. And I'm going to delete the other two because this is all I want to use. You can leave it there if you want. I'm just keeping this as clean as I can for the time being. The other thing we want to do is create more action mapping. We're going to press plus, 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 plus. We have 4 action mappings here for the 4 action buttons over here. And we're going to keep things generic. We're going to call this attack 1. And we're going to make this gamepad face left. Face left would be the X button. There we go. Gamepad face top. That would be the Y button on the Xbox controller. And we call this action 2. Attack 2, sorry. And then we go to the next one. Attack 3. Gamepad face bottom, which would be the A, and then finally attack 4. Gamepad face right, which would be the B. Perfect. Now that we have all these bindings done, we can move on. We can actually close this, and I'm happy with everything. The next thing you want to do is click on your C++ over here, generic fighter game, and you've got 2 modes here. You've got your game mode and you've got your fighter game character. Click on your fighter game character. Now you need the latest version of Visual Studio 2019, so make sure you have that installed. If you don't, it will ask you to download it and make sure it's up to date. You just don't want to run into any unnecessary problems. Now, the first thing we want to do is we want to go to our generic fighter game character.h, and we want to create a few things here to make it work right. I'm going to put // Whenever you do // in C++, it just basically allows you to have a comment. So I'm just going to call this attack buttons binding. And we're doing this in the .h file, which is the header file. We are not doing this in the .cpp file. Make sure that it's not in the .cpp file, which is the C++ file, that it is in the .h file. Right? And then we press enter. And also where you put this in the code does matter. I put it underneath the camera boom, positioning the camera inside the character. I put it below that, but above the line protected. It does actually matter. So the first thing we're doing is void, all lowercase. And we're going to start attack 1, close. And I'm going to copy this because I'm not a fan of coding. Paste, paste, paste. And I'm just going to update this 2, 3, and 4. And the reason why we have this semicolon thing over here, it's to close off the code. Like it reads this, it stops there. Reads this, it stops there. And what void does, it says you're going to get the input from this from another place. You're not going to get it here in the .h file. You might find it in the C++ file. And that's essentially what it's saying. So now we're done with this. And we can go to the C++ file. And there's a good couple of things we need to do here. Ooh, I almost forgot. You also want to make sure that it's case sensitive. Everything is case sensitive in coding in C++. So make sure the S is capital and the A, like, make sure it matches identically. Right, so now we're going to go to the generic fighter game character.cpp, which is the C++ file. And we want to scroll down quickly. And we're going to scroll down until we get to the void a generic fighting game character setup player input component. So this is where we want to be inside of this. And where we're going to put it is between the movement and the action binding over here. And we're going to add a little bit of code here to make it work properly. Let me just minimize this. And yep, let's get to it. So first thing we want to do is type in player input component dash bind action open bracket attack 1 comma space IE underscore pressed comma this comma, and we just need to copy the name of our file, which is what we called it over here, Control C, and paste it here. Make sure it's only got one spacing. Yep, that's good. And then the 2 dots, and then you can define your attack. Start attack 1. Attack 1. And then we can say I can stop thinking over here, but also make sure it says 1 with exclamation mark. Right, so I am quite happy with that. So because I'm not a fan of coding, I'm just going to copy this and paste it. And now we're going to go in the front here, and this is just for troubleshoot. Sean the Bro did this, so I'm doing it too. This is just adding a comment here that we could uncomment to test something if something doesn't work, which we're not going to use right now, but let's just do it anyways because we might use it. So we're going to play input component bind action attack 1 is, let's change this to released. This, I'm going to make this stop. So this code isn't really being processed, but because it's a comment, but if we remove those 2 lines, it would be red. And that's perfect. So now we can just, because we don't like the code, we just want to make the game. Control C to copy this, paste, paste, paste. And now all we need to do is just change the number for the different attack, because we had a very simple naming convention. We didn't define the punches. We just called it attack 1, attack 2, attack 3, attack 4. Also, this needs to be attack 2. And here we go. Attack 2. attack 3, attack 3, attack 3, attack 3, attack 4, start attack 4, stop attack 4, and then attack 4. Brilliant. So now we've got these inputs here. So now this has binded the action of our Xbox controller or your keyboard, whatever you decided to use there, to the characters, to the character. Obviously no animation is there yet, but now we want to make sure it's working. So we've got in our main character file, we've got this function that allows you to start attacks, but the void means to find out the process, it's somewhere else, and the process is defined over here inside of the setup player input component, and we've set it up the controller earlier, but with the binding of actions. Right, so now we just need to test this out. So we're going to scroll to the very bottom. I'm going to press enter, and we're going to create a temporary log. And this temporary log will allow us to test if the code is working. So let's just quickly minimize that and get to it. So at the very bottom of our .cpp file, now where you put the code is important, not only whether it's the header file or the C++ file, or whether it's the where in the code you put it does matter, and also the case sensitivity. So just keep that in mind. That's why we try and do as little of it as possible. Right, so we're going to do void, and now you want to name your fighter game, which in this case is a generic character. And let's do this. Start attack 1 UE underscore log, open bracket, log temp, comma, space, warning, comma, space, text or caps, open bracket, and we're going to leave a comment here. We are using attack 1, and we can just add this over here, and then we just double check UE log temp, comma, space, warning, comma, space, text, open bracket, bunny ears. We are using attack 1. That looks fine. Cool. So now all we need to do is copy this for each attack, right? Paste, paste, paste. And now we just change this. Attack 2, start attack 2. And we do attack 2. Do attack 3. And we've got attack 3. Do attack 4. And we've got attack 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now we have to build this. So click build solution. Now if you did things correctly, and you must do things correctly, so you have to go over everything again if you miss something, you'll have build succeeded, build 1 succeeded, 0 failed, 0 up to date, 1 skipped. If you didn't get that, it means you put the code in the wrong place, or there might be a comma missing, or you had a small s instead of a big S. It's very specific. So you definitely want to make sure that you did everything correct. And everything I showed you, you should get the same result, because I'm doing this pretty much in real time with you. Right, now that we've done that, we can go back to our game finally. And we're going to click over here, window, and we are going to scroll down to output log. Now we can switch between our content browser and output log here, but when we play the game, click once so that we can move our character with our controller. Now when we press X for punch 1, it's in yellow at the bottom there, says log temp warning we are using attack 1. Log temp warning we are using attack 2. Log temp warning we are using attack 3. Log temp warning we are using attack 4, which means it's registering these as those attacks, which is going to be extremely useful to make the punches work in the coming videos. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like, subscribe, use the bell. Please comment. Let me know if this is something you guys are interested in. I'm thinking about making my main channel just this for the next 2-3 years and just going deeper and deeper until we have a triple A game. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.